authors, filmmakers, entertainment, and all your listening needs. Listen now to Talknow Radio, where no topic is taboo.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talknow Radio. Pardon me, this is your host, Royce Redneck Radio Man. And joining me tonight is going to be Lanaia Lee. And she's returning to our show like she does every year for Halloween. Me and her have been doing this traditionally for, I want to say, close to 4 or 5 years. I'm not exactly real good with dates. She might have a better memory of it than me. I hope I don't get in trouble. But if y'all have any questions during the show, the call-in number is 832-632-7904. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about Lanaia, you can go to her lair at www.lanaiaslair.com. And also, we were going to do a Halloween show tonight, and we still are. But as part of the show, we're going to incorporate a little information about her newest book, Paradox 5, which you can buy through Donna Inc. Publications at www.donnainc.org. And I'll be pasting that there in the chat room directly as soon as I get through loading these MP3s that Lanaia has provided for me to play during the show for our listening pleasure. And while we're waiting for me to get that, let's say hi to Lanaia and get the show started. Lanaia, how you doing?
Doing fine. All us southern people doing fine.
Yeah, you are in the South. You're in what, Florida?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. That's in the South?
Right. Yes, it's in the South. It's below the Mason-Dixon.
Yeah, I'm in Texas, so I'm in the South.
Yeah, real South.
That puts all of us down here in the Bible Belt.
Yep, and good old Southern Baptist.
And why is Houston so full of Pentecostals?
That's what I was raised as.
That's what I was raised as, too.
Pentecostal.
Yeah, now my wife, she spent part of her childhood as a Catholic and the other part as a Baptist, so we got out as a Baptist.
Boy, oh boy, that's a big difference. Catholic and Baptist, boy.
Yeah, it is. And she's going to Baptist now.
Well, I was raised as a Pentecostal, and the last church I went to was non-denominational. So.
I'm trying to make sure I got all the ones you sent me here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I missed this one, the Reverence. And that's the last one. Okay,
yeah,
you sent me five MP3s, right?
I think so.
Yeah, then I probably got them all. I got I Wish to something, Arise My something, Grandpa, Spirits of, and Reverence. I can't see the whole thing. It was too long to show up on the deal here.
But you're right. You're right. You got them all?
Good. All right. Then we're ready when the time comes. So,
yep.
Now, real quick, because I don't want to forget anything about this one here, what can you tell us about Paradox 5?
Well, it is definitely a thriller. The word paradox is about a time machine. Because the worst thing you can do when you time travel is forget the grandfather paradox. Well, if you kill your own grandfather, you wouldn't be born. So I use paradox as kind of like a verbal reminder to the 5 that do my time travel. And what they do, they time travel trying to stop one of the greatest evils the world has ever known. And I present a plausible scenario that could very well be.
Oh, and that's why you don't want to give it away what the terror is, because it would be kind of like giving away the candy store.
Pretty much, yeah. But, I always, try to put a paranormal theme in what I do. And my time travelers, they go to Provelia Island, which is off the coast of Italy. And supposedly, Venice. Venice, is that the one with the water? It's right outside of Venice, and during the time of the Black Death, they took all these people over to the island. You know, it's kind of like a quarantine. Well, if they got sick from, the plague, and they died, they burned them there. And it is my knowledge they burnt over 500,000 bodies there.
That's
and
a
then
lot.
And then in 1920 on the island, they put a insane asylum. And that didn't work. So now they say the island is so haunted that the Italian government will not let anybody go to it. The ground itself...
Part of the story then is true then.
Right.
But the reader's going to have to figure out what part's fact and what part's fiction.
Well, everywhere I go is pretty much factual. Like I went to Chernobyl, where they had, meltdown back in the 80s. And the bad thing about it is the whole place is still very radioactive. To go there, you got to wear hazard suits. You got to time yourself. And everything looks just like people just got up left. It's amazing.
Okay, Lanaia, give me just let me interrupt for a quick minute here. I was noticing that there's a couple people listening that's not in the chat room. I want to mention to folks listening that membership to my site is free, and it's there to keep the spam bots out of the forums and out of the chat rooms so that people can chat freely without having to have somebody pop up unwanted links. We all can pop links in there, but you know what I mean, not to Viagra or something like that, in other words.
Right.
But, so please feel free to join. The one thing I would tell everybody is if you join the site, you got to click submit twice, because on the first page it wants you to confirm that all the information you given was correct, and hit submit again. And then you go to your email and check your junk folders if you don't see it in your regular folder for an activation email, and click that activation email, and that'll pop you right into the site. You come back, you log in, and you can get into the chat room. So please feel free to join us. I'm sorry about that, Lanaia. I just wanted to get that out real quick.
That's all right. I want to tell everybody, God, I've been a member of your site for like 4 or 5 years.
Very
and nobody, the site has never given my information to anybody, at least out to my knowledge.
No, I'm pretty sure if anybody had gotten your information,
it's a very
you would have known
safe site. Oh, yeah.
I don't even get my members' passwords. I can assign you a temporary password, but I can't get your information. You see what I'm saying? It's kept private from me.
Like you did for me today.
Right. I can assign you one. And then what you do is you go into your profile and you change it the minute you get in there. Otherwise, if you don't change it, I'll still have the one I assigned you.
Right.
But getting back to the topic at hand, I was thinking about what you were talking about time travel and putting a paranormal spin on it. What about a ghost that travels through time and haunts more than 1 century at a time?
That sounds like that'd be a pretty good book.
Well, it just popped into my head because I've often wondered if in the spirit realm, are they even bound by time? Does time even exist for them?
I think myself, from what I've noticed, what I've studied, what I've researched, they have that ability, I would think. Because what is the spirit? Everybody says it's electromagnetic energy, which I believe. Because, you go to the ley lines on Earth, and what are they? Electromagnetic. Anywhere you go on Earth that your compass goes nuts is electromagnetic energy. So, makes sense to me.
That's pretty interesting because I had Walter Bosley on my show a couple years ago, and we were talking about his book, Latitude 33, Key to the Kingdom. And he's noticed that at latitude 33, or close to latitude 33, is where there's high instances of ghosts and UFOs and other paranormal, like fairies, etc. And he was really noticing it on King Arthur's Carousel. Was it in Disneyland or in Disney World? The one that's in California.
The 33rd parallel has a spot on it that is really, really interesting. The Great Pyramid.
Because the 33rd parallel also is where the 10 valve vortices are. You know where the Bermuda Triangle is? They call that a vortex. Some say there's a vortex there.
I believe that.
And I've read articles that if you follow latitude 33 all the way around the globe, these vortices are popped up all around the globe at latitude 33, and so are pyramids or famous spiritual structures.
Well, I just read, I think a couple of days ago, the 33rd parallel goes from the Great Pyramid, let me think, to Palenque, the Mayan city of Palenque. And why not?
I also read that if you dive in the ocean right there at Bermuda Triangle and go all the way to the center of the earth, you'll pop out in the Dragon's Triangle.
I've read that too. Is that
some pretty wicked stuff about ley lines right there, isn't it?
I'm telling you, is the Dragon's Triangle in the Sea of Japan?
Do what now?
Is the Dragon's Triangle in the Sea of Japan?
Yes.
You know they found that structure. That guy under the water, he found...
underwater pyramid?
Oh, gosh, yeah, that thing is... that thing's humongous.
Yeah, but I heard they found a very similar one under the water off the coast of Florida, too.
I've heard that.
Which again,
but, you know, you've got to remember...
That would put both it's close to the Dragons and the Bermuda Triangle.
Exactly. But you got to remember, everything that we were taught in school, you might as well forget it, because it wasn't true. Just like Columbus discovered America, Columbus didn't discover America. The Knights Templars discovered America.
That's very true. I have had Frank Joseph on my show 3 or 4 times, and he's coming back again in the near future. And this man has done more work on ancient America and proving that we were being visited thousands of years ago than any man I know. And he's got many books out on this subject, out of which I've read 2 or 3 of them myself. And I mean, you know, these people have been coming here since the days of the Garden of Eden.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw a show the other day.
It's already around. It's already been discovered. And it was a trade route for millennia.
You know what? The Great Pyramid they discovered buried Khufu's boat, right? And they said that boat was very capable and seaworthy. Even, what we're talking, 5,000 years BC.
Okay, now whose boat was this that they found?
Khufu. He was one of the Egyptian pyramids.
Pyramid Cheops Khufu.
You got it. That's it.
Okay. Well, listen, I got this in the mail today from Inner Tradition. They're one of the publishing companies I interview their authors for. And they send me these brochures to see if I'm interested in interviewing their authors on books. And I got this one today called The Ancient Giants Who Ruled America, The Missing Skeletons and the Great Smithsonian Cover-Up, which I find interesting because I've actually read online that the Smithsonian has actually covered up Egyptian artifacts that were found in the, what's that big desert in Arizona? I mean, that big Grand Canyon, that were found in the Grand Canyon.
There you go.
And now you were just talking to me about that boat that they found. Now,
Right.
I'm having to wonder, and we were talking about the truth and about Frank Joseph, so I'm just wondering how much there is that has been covered up.
Well, I think a lot was lost with the burning of the Library of Alexandria.
Oh,
Because
hell
they
yeah.
had scrolls by, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates. And I believe we lost a lot of history with that burned down. But, there's also another one called the Labyrinth. And it is also in Egypt. It is underground. We have the dimensions. They know where it is. But the Egyptian authorities won't allow us to dig. Why? What are they afraid of?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And also, they recently found the tomb over at Avaris, and they're not wanting us to dig over there either. And there have been some people over there, and they have discovered paintings on the wall in that tomb of what look like Israelites. And Akhenaten's tomb over there, in other words, over there where Akhenaten founded his
Oh,
city.
he's my hero.
Akhenaten
If
is?
there was anybody that was an ancient alien in ancient Egypt, it was him.
Okay,
I mean,
I'll tell
he
you what,
looks...
then. There's a book out, and I got it in the mail yesterday, again from Intertraditions, by Xavier Hayes on aliens in ancient Egypt that you might be interested in. Royce, would you look over there on the ice chest and get me that book about ancient aliens in Egypt? You might be interested in this here, Mary.
If it's anything to do with ancient Egypt, I'm interested.
I got a big mouth. Anyway.
Well, something else they found, too, and I'll let's tell me after I tell you this.
Ancient
You know who Edgar Casey was, right?
Okay, here it is, Mary.
All right.
Read it again. Here it is, Lanaia. Aliens in Ancient Egypt, the Brotherhood of the Serpent, and the Secrets of the Nile Civilization. And he talks about Akhenaten and his access to stargates and how the Brotherhood of the Snake tried to suppress the information.
And if no one doesn't know this, Akhenaten was King Tut's father.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
King Tut was born from a minor wife. His major wife was Nefertiti. They had 6 daughters. And Tut's mother, her name was Kira. She was a minor wife.
A minor wife?
A minor wife. In other words, she was one of the harem.
Yeah, kind of like a concubine?
Sort of, I guess you could say.
Or something somewhere between a concubine and a wife?
Yeah, that's what I would say, because, a lot of those marriages were based on politics and stuff. So.
Yeah, you'd almost think that was the case with Abraham and Sarah.
For real, wouldn't you?
I mean, the way it was described in the Bible, it would make you wonder, in other words.
Well, I've got one question about Abraham.
Did he ever exist?
And I said, why would God need to test Abraham's loyalty? Wouldn't God already know?
Yeah, you would think so.
Well, I read also a scenario where they said that it was an ancient alien, not the real God. Which makes sense to me, because I'm an avid believer.
So, how did it come you reckon you don't never see little aliens trick-or-treating at your door?
I don't know.
How come you don't go to the store and see little gray alien costumes?
I don't know.
You would think you could get a Cardassian or a Klingon or some kind of a costume, wouldn't you?
Yes, for real. But it does make you wonder. Now, Edgar Casey, you know who he was?
Oh, yes, everybody knew who Edgar Casey was.
All right. When he was in one of his trances, he said that The Atlantean repository was under the left front paw of the Sphinx. Well, there's a room. There is a room, and it's caved in, but it's there.
Yeah, they found the opening that he was talking about, and he saw that through a vision. In other words,
right. And then when he started talking about Atlantis or his gods when he was in his trance, he claimed that he was led by the High Council of Atlantis, which consisted of 13. And that's why I go into the crystal skulls. There are 13 skulls.
One for each council member.
Right. And maybe the High Council wasn't of Earth. When you think about it.
It's kind of interesting because you got 12 planets, 12 constellations, 12 disciples, 12 tribes of Israel. And
you're
now
absolutely right.
Satanic bloodlines.
Very interesting. I haven't thought of that. That's right.
Like there was supposed to be originally, like there was 12, but there was going to be an added one later.
Right.
There was 12 tribes of Israel. Wasn't there before Manasseh and Ephraim? Didn't with them two it make 13?
You're right.
And then you had the apostles. Paul was like a 13th one that was added later, wasn't he?
I think so. But you know what's really amazing? The son that Abraham had with Hagar, the handmaiden of Sarah, he was Ishtar, and he fathered the Muslim nation. Did you know that?
Yes.
And Isaac,
in the Bible.
Isaac was the father of the 12 tribes. But no, the restraint of the prophets, the one you told me, book to hurry up and finish writing. I've learned quite a bit writing that book. And I made sure I watched the movie to the Vindicator about 3 times before I started the book, because I didn't want to hit on what Dan Brown did. And my book is nothing like Dan Brown's. What I hit on is in black and white. Because you think about it, you go back all the way back to Christ himself. When Mary Magdalene and Peter did not get along. And Peter was always griping about Mary Magdalene. Well, one of the other disciples stepped forward. His name was Levi. And he said, if the master found her worthy, then who are we to argue? That's one point I hit on. Now you're going up in history to Constantine when he made Christianity the religion of Rome. If he was such a Christian, why did he wait till his deathbed to get baptized?
Really? And you know, a lot of people are asking that very question.
It was all political. He knew what he was doing. Then I hit on, you know, what happened to the Templars, which is in black and white. Then I hit on the Inquisitions, which are in black and white. So my facts are true. I just like to weave my little fantasy around the facts.
Right. That's just Lanaia for you.
You got it.
You've always done it that way, ever since I can remember. Now,
oh, yes. Don't forget my twists at the end now.
I was actually fixing to say, we haven't heard any of these MP3s yet, and I was going to say, why don't we play this first one? I wish to, and I don't see the end of it here.
I wish to be, I think, is what it is.
Ah, okay.
As I lie
let's
in
lend
this
it our
big
ear.
old bed, all alone, my mind always wanders to how it used to be. I think about how things were, you and I together, before you had to die. If only I could touch your face, hug you, love you. From you I will never flee. But the reality sets in, and that always makes me cry. Unlike most people, I have a secret most wouldn't understand. You come to me at night because I, like you, I just can't let go. My love for you on my fingers still remains my wedding band, a token of our love, one I always wish to show. The wind outside howling as it blows very, very hard. All of a sudden, inside the room, I feel freezingly cold. I can see my breath as I breathe. There is no need to be on guard. I feel the love and the gentleness that I always felt when you would hold. Soon I feel the hair on my arms and the back of my neck telling me you are here. Electricity feels as if it enters my body. But I don't worry because I know it is you. Our love transcends life and death, never ending. On that, I am very clear. When you come to me, I no longer feel sad or blue. You come to me spiritually. For me, this is totally fine. I will take you in any way I can, because you were the love of my life. I tell no one because they would not believe me, so I walk a very fine line. Your death, the sadness, you being here helps me with all the strife. I can feel your touch, or maybe I imagine this, but I really don't care because, in a way, you are still here with me. But I still can't shake that feeling you, my soulmate, I sure do miss. You by my side in life or death. This is where I always wish to be.
Wow.
What do you think?
I'm not sure what I want to make out of that. I mean, that was kind of deep, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's from, though. Now, I will tell you something. Miss Q, Miss Quinsonberry, or Miss Q, what she likes to be called. I'm gonna tell you what, she's my God. She was my godsend. I tried for 8 years on self-publishing. So much for that.
So she the one that inspired that?
No, I ain't no telling where I got the inspiration from. I know the one, Arise My Love, I got the inspiration from The Mummy, the movie. And then you got one called Grandpa's Watch. That just kind of, you know, went in my head. Reverence. That's about Egypt.
That's about Egypt?
Yes, sir.
The one that's titled Grandpa?
Reverence.
Oh, Reverence. Okay, well, that one's at the bottom of the list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move ahead to the bottom of the list and go right to it.
It's good.
Well, it lended our ear again.
Arise, my love, and come back to me. I chant from the Book of the Dead, from the Valley of the Kings. 5,000 years in the other world, we have paid